welcome to Scrappin with Sheri. We are on to page 73 in the sketchbook, and if you've been looking ahead, you've noticed that some of the sketches are going to be double spreads, which I really like. Not very many of them, but this one is a double spread, and it's probably the easiest page we will ever do as I look ahead again, because we've got the beautiful Fasta Fab papers that work perfectly for this. All you need on this is a 2-inch by 12-inch border. You need some kind of border strip to separate and background pages. Now, this is not quite 2 inches wide, but this is the Adventure Park Fasta Fab papers. And look how cute they are. So we've already got the border. We've got a border strip. Basically, all we've got to do is add our photos and some embellishments, and these pages are done. Now, you know I can't do anything that easily, so I'm just going to have to make it a little bit harder. I am going to crop my pictures first, and I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use, but I figured this might be a good opportunity to talk about how we lay out our pictures. So, my granddaughter had come to visit. My oldest son and his wife came over to play with her, and that's what these pictures are of. Now, she's got this cute little car that she likes to ride on, and they were pushing her back and forth across the living room. And I'm going to cut out a lot of excess stuff, a lot of our messes in the background, because when she comes, everything is just chaos and it's a mess, and we don't clean anything up because we're having too much fun. But she decided that it would be fun to ride her car backwards. And you see here, she's turned around backwards on her car. Well, that didn't stop her aunt and uncle from pushing her back and forth. And she had a really good time. So, these pictures are not necessarily in order. I will tell that story when I'm journaling. But I do feel like these pictures may need to be matted. Now, she started the day with a really pretty hairdo. She sat down and let me fix her hair, which doesn't happen real often. So I wanted to include that. And then at some point in time during that same day, she decided she was going to build a tower. And then later, she helped her aunt wrap a present for a party we were having later that week, except she laid on the box. And then she started hitting us with the cardboard roll from the wrapping paper. Actually, she wasn't hitting us. She was just swinging it. And if you got in her way, you got hit. So, lots going on with this little sweetie. Will all these pictures fit? Probably not. But I did pull some mats from my Adventure Parks collection. I don't have a lot of this, but I taught a class on this at one of my crops, and so I did have some leftovers. I've got these little dot embellishments. I thought this Off We Go would be pretty, but I'm going to cut the suitcases off because that wasn't necessarily what she was doing. She was just riding back and forth. So I felt like if I cut the suitcases off, this would be an appropriate title block for this particular page. I saw this little ticket that says thrill seeking, which I thought might be fun for her when she's turned backwards. But I do want to do some matting too to kind of complement these pictures. Now I was looking at this color and it's really very good with what she's wearing. So I can do some matting like this and cut down the mat. Let me see if I've got any of these left that are actually full mats without designs. And generally I don't, but we could cover something up there. Possibly cover there. But you know, when I've already cut them down, that leaves me a little less wiggle room. That say cheese, that's cute, but on this particular page, she's not actually saying cheese, and she does quite frequently say that, so I'm going to keep that one for later. Those are good colors. So I've pulled several that I think might be good colors. Let's see what we can come up with out of all of that. If we have any that are still larger. Yeah, that's pretty good. We could cover that up. I told you I could make this harder. I like it much better on the light blue. So let's go ahead and stick that. Somebody had mentioned on one of the comments a while back that this is like a game of Tetris, and boy, is it going to be, especially after I mat several of these pictures. It'll be fun to see if we can make them all fit on a double spread at that point. That's a pretty big one, and it would work on there. I did love it that she was laying on that box while her auntie wrapped that present. Now, the great thing about doing one of these Festive Fab papers is you don't have to look for anything that matches because it obviously already matches. That makes it really easy to do a layout like this. Let's see. If I trim her down just a hair, I've already cut her foot off anyway, so I could trim just a little bit more and get that right into the middle of that mat. So my customers just do not buy the mat packs, and it makes me really sad because they're awesome. They're great for just this kind of thing. They're great to cut apart to use for titles. They're good if you're trying to do shapes, like with one of the circle punches or square punches, because there's a different, there's often different patterns on the mats than you see in your paper pack. So a lot of times you'll get different patterns, which are fun to work with. I'm going to leave a little bit of that firework up there, and I'm going to journal over that about her actually letting me do her hair. I don't have a ton to say about this necessarily. I'll probably come up with something. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that one or not, so I'm going to hold on to it for a second. Let's just kind of see where we are. I know y'all don't go into your pages willy-nilly like that, just throwing things here and there. Then we've got our turned around backwards, so we might want to add those in like that. The wrapping was kind of the last part of the evening. You can tell she's having a really good time there. She loves her family. She just loves to be around people. She really is very much a people person. All right, so if I look at what I've got going on right here, you notice I've kind of moved some pictures around here and there. This one and this one show the pillow, so I kind of like that. But this one is not necessary because we've got her auntie here. So I think I'll slide that one up. We got to make sure we get her uncle in here because she sure does love him. I don't love him facing off the side of the page. We've got her backwards over here, so we can add our thrill seeking over here somehow. We've got the off we go over here. Let's see what else we're left with. Do we have any other photos? Wow, we've actually done much better than I thought. I think we got all the photos covered. So if I wanted to go back and add that one in, I can. We've got this one of her helping to wrap. So we can move these two up and put that one in here. And it looks like we can get pretty much everything on the page. So let's go back and finish our matting. It did help me to move some things around a little bit though, because that's going to help me determine exactly how I mat. And these mats, I know y'all are probably looking at them going, those are just the wrong size. They're not going to work. But, you know, I do these a lot like I do my photos when I have them pre-matted in white. So I can cut this down. cut it again underneath, and then I can tape and slide that piece up. One of my friends at my last weekend crop said, I've never thought about doing the way you did with your photos and cutting off the white. And so she practiced it several times and did a really nice job, and she was able to keep the white around her photos, and she was really pleased with that. Would it be a lot easier just to choose a piece of paper and use it? Yeah, probably. But I have all these mats. They work. I can cut that one down just a little bit more. I kept having to tell her to put her feet up so that she wouldn't scrub the carpet. That's a fun night. You see the way I'm covering up the journaling box area of these? That's helping me tremendously. And in just a minute, I may end up moving some of these pictures around again, just for sizing or whatever, but probably keeping pretty close to what we've got going. Let's see if that one's any shorter. Yeah, we can trim that one down just a little more to get it on there. I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half-ish. Half-ish. And that'll help me get my picture on that. So what I'm loving about all of this is the fact that by using these mats this way, I only had parts of this collection left anyway, since I did it as a breakout. So it's helping me finish up the mats I had left in the collection. You know how I like finishing up something and clearing it out. And I've got this one that's still a little dark on that, but I think we can make that work. That'll give us some color variation down there. So let's stick this on, and then we'll move pieces and parts of this mat around till we make it work. Now, typically I would not mat with so much pattern. This is a lot of pattern, I feel like, to be matting with. But it's kind of fun, kind of whimsical. It kind of fits the feel of the pictures and the border that we've got there. So I can tell you right now, this probably won't be one of my favorite pages ever, but it's cute. And somebody said the other day, it's cute and it's done. It doesn't really matter. Well, yeah, it kind of does matter, but I'm not typically a real bright colored person anyway on these pages, so this one's a little bit outside my normal. I think there's one picture under my trimmer we have yet to mat. Now, I said at the onset that this was going to be a quick and easy page. You know, I told you I can make it harder, which is kind of what I do, because I want you to see some variations. But this could have been an extremely quick page. The paper was already beautiful. It was printed. It was done. You don't have to mat every single picture. I do like to mat a lot. So for me, the matting was necessary. I can add that right there. Maybe. And then even do a little journaling up here about that. I think I'm just going to have to put that little picture of her on there, just so I can write about her swinging it around and having such a good time with it. I'd love to add another piece of red on here because we just don't have very much red. And I think if I trim off the back, this one will work. Oh, went too high because the suitcase handle is showing. Now, I wouldn't have to take that off. I could just cover it up with an embellishment. but I don't have a whole lot of embellishments for this unless I use lots of those little acrylic things. And I don't tend to use a lot of those, but hey, maybe today's the day. All right. So let's see what we can do with our layout. This hair picture really just kind of bothers me because it doesn't match up with anything else we've got going on, but I think we can make it work. And I do have some large pictures on this side. Now, if you notice, when I'm overlapping, I'm just covering up stuff we don't necessarily have to see anyway. I'm not really, there's not a good rhyme nor reason, except with this one, I tried to make the blue a little bit different than the rest of the colors. And I will be doing some journaling on this page. So this Off We Go could go in a lot of different places. Let's go back to our sketch and see what they've done. You know, they've only added 3 pictures here and 2 here. So for me, that Off We Go actually is going to fit probably best right there. So let's go ahead and tape that side down and get it out of the way. And when I journal, I will probably go ahead and journal on some type of lined paper, probably one of these little mats, and just cut it down a little bit. If I can find a red piece, that would add me some extra red, particularly to this side, because the only red over here is that Off We Go. I will journal about her hair, actually on this mat, I think. So I'm overlapping 3 pictures here, not this one. And then we're going to add in, now this is just a card, it's not a sticker, but it's kind of big. So I added a few little foam squares to it. I think I'm just going to kind of keep it squared. Not my usual, but stick it right there. And then let's get this page stuck down. I hate all that clutter in my background, but I don't know how else to work this page. I know y'all are looking at it going, oh, you could do this and this and this, and you've probably figured it all out. I'll play that Tetris game again for a minute. So if I do that, that works because that takes this red off of that side, and it also gives me room to write about the wrapping here. Look at that. All right, so just not every advisor can take something super easy and make it super hard and time-consuming, but I can. I will tell you, though, if you use these Fast-to-Fab pages, it really can cut down on your time. And if I had just been matting with cardstock and didn't have to cut those mats down at all, that would be pretty easy. Also, if I had pre-planned this page at all and looked at it a little more closely, it would have been a lot easier. But that's all right. It's going to be another page done. Let's stick a couple of foam squares on that. And the bulk of these 2 pages is complete. Now, I do have to do my journaling. I may add some of those little embellishments, but you'll see all that in the photo after I finish it up. These are cute, though. They'll be easy to add in various places. So, be looking for the photo at the end of this video. That is page 73 in our sketchbook. And until I see you next time, happy scrapping.